and we'll start to focus up front. It's good to see a lot of familiar faces tonight. Is anybody new to the meetup tonight? Is anybody new to LA Drupal tonight? Welcome. Welcome. It's great to have you here. We do a lot of community sharing and things like that, so I would encourage you to get involved in our community. We do a lot of great open source stuff. Are you going to put up the end? And if you want to do this too, I just happen to be here on time tonight, so there we are. So we've got a lot of stuff to talk about before we actually get into our presentations tonight. This is an important month for us because next month, before next meetup, we have a very large LA community event, Drupal Camp LA 2014. There it is, September 6th through 7th, the weekend after Labor Day. John Remind's here, so I'm going to toss it to you just to talk a little bit about that for a second. But who here is going to be there? Just a show of hands, who's going to go? That's great. And just one more show of hands. Who here is actually going to try to present this year? Who's going to stand up and talk to people about either Drupal or what they're doing in their work? That's wonderful. That's about 50% of the people here. So that's really encouraging. It's a free event. It's hosted at UC Irvine, but I think you're going to be the better guy to talk to. This is John Remind. He's our organizer for this event.
That's for this weekend, September 6th and 7th. It's at UC Irvine. The camp itself is free. I think we're going to have free lunch.
Free lunch?
There is free lunch.
Thank you, sponsors.
Yeah. And our account. You pay for parking, $10 a day.
Sponsors. Let's pay $20 for my party.
I think we have about 70 sessions.
Wow.
Right now, and we have room for all of them so far.
So what would we need for those sessions, though? Have people been vocal with those sessions about?
So I think the next thing we need is for if you, so a lot of people are going, if you have signed up already, great. If you haven't signed up, now would be the time. And if you have signed up, or even if you haven't, the little target button right there on those sessions,
right here.
Pick the ones that you would like to see at the camp or you are planning to attend.
Yeah.
6 or 8 for each day you're going to be there, so we can get an idea of head count.
And that really helps us pick what rooms the presentations need to go into. So if you haven't taken the opportunity to log into the site, sign up, as John said, it really helps us out as organizers to know what you're interested in, because then we can have a bigger room for you.
So you're saying go pick 15 of them?
Yes, actually, pick all of them.
Pick all the ones you like.
But just, it's only to make the person feel good.
Oh my God.
And then,
stop enabling people.
This year we have something new. There's a little headline for it, the PHP mini camp.
Yeah.
So the LA PHP, Orange County PHP, San Diego PHP, and Meetup have all come together to put a PHP track together. And so there'll be a lot of sessions on PHP things that aren't strictly Drupal. So if you're looking for information on Symfony or maybe some more PHP kind of object-oriented programming and how that's going to work.
Is there anybody talking about PHP 5.5 Zencache is now native to PHP? Is anybody
Well,
talking
we've got about 10 or 15 a little bit sessions already.
You're still behind. There's PHP 7. I want to point out that there is a filter. There's a view on the page that you can view all PHP-related sessions. So if you're a beginner in PHP or you're just trying to strengthen your PHP array skills, stuff like that, definitely check out that list. One last thing is if you pick sessions, right, yeah. If you pick sessions before when you first signed up, maybe a month ago, 2 months ago, something like that, go back. There's a lot more sessions added. We also expect within the next couple weeks or week, there would even be some more sessions. So, if you spend 20 minutes because you're a lot at work to jump on Facebook to check your status, for the next few weeks, just keep checking Drupal Camp within that 20-minute spot. Pick some sessions that make sense because we do have some people signing up that are going to be delivering some good sessions that just haven't registered yet. Question?
Yeah, when will we know about the schedule?
Go to the schedule pretty close to the start of the camp.
Yeah.
So yeah, I know there's always going to be conflicts.
Right.
So
The schedule is Saturday and Sunday. Show up.
So I know when.
Right. There's speaker information.
Yeah, well, just let us know and we'll make sure to put all of your sessions on the same time slots on paper.
Right.
we'll do our best with that, but yeah.
When you post, we do ask if there's like a preferred day, I think, or we also, just let us know, hey, I'm only gonna be there Saturday. Also too, if it's the night before and something comes up, and you have to, your family, you have to give birth on Saturday, but you can present on Sunday still, because you bounce back that fast. Let us know, like, hey, I noticed, my schedule's changed, I can only do Sunday. That's happened, and we've accommodated, okay? We do actually sometimes even get maybe 1 or 2 presenters that just don't show up at all. So something gets slotted in for sure. So we're used to that kind of change. Don't get stuck on the schedule being posted before you pick what you're going to do. Really just come in the morning. It's gotten easier every year because John's done a great job at keeping us at the spot that we're used to. But come in the morning and just enjoy it. And again, the first night's open bar. Thank you to multiple sponsors, right? So, definitely get a designated driver or get your taxi funds ready. Uber, Lyft, whichever one is not flooded with fake orders.
Meet some college students and stay in the dorm.
There you go.
Yeah, we've got some.
That might be looked against.
We've got good pricing at some great hotels.
No, crashing with the dorm kids,
So we
no.
want to stay overnight and not drive back from where we.
Is there gonna be a special Doug Van track?
Yeah, there is actually.
The rumors are true. There is a Doug Van track. Is that happening?
Doug is doing his, normally it's paid training by
Right.
Doug Van, and he's gonna do that for us for free.
Right.
So there'll be a Drupal training all day long, and we haven't slotted it in, it's gonna be on Saturday. If you find Doug Van, you can click on him there.
Here he is. The Right Way, Part 1, Part 2, Part 3, Part 4.
And there'll be more stuff in the afternoon with Doug also.
For those, how many, quick show of hands, how many here are still, they feel like they're beginners in Drupal still? Okay, Doug is. Okay, half of you who are telling the truth. You guys will get actually a lot because the guy, Doug is a good guy. He really breaks it down.
He really has a good style of presenting,
Right.
he'll answer your questions, he's really
Exactly.
interacting with people.
Actually, I'll put it a different way personally. When I went to this camp 5-6 years ago now, I was beginning in Drupal. This was one of the most valuable things that I did for myself. Just because it was free, so I showed up, and then I started listening to all of these other people share their ideas. And I cannot you can't place value on it. To start to exchange ideas with people that have come before you, and also see what they want to do or where they're going, you should be doing that no matter what community you're with. So, that being said,
I got one more thing on that. So Chris mentioned there's an after-hours party on Saturday night on campus. It's in the pub upstairs from where we are.
the Annual Pub.
The Annual Pub, right, and Annual Pub. And the second thing is like Steve was saying, it's a community effort. So this is not a conference where we have a huge budget and a big staff that takes care of everything. It's pretty much us that are taking care of it, and you. So if you're coming to the camp, we really appreciate it if you can help out in some way.
Oh, that's wonderful.
You can volunteer to help with, like, at the help desk or handing out the badges or anything like that. There's lots of time slots for that. We'll be posting more information about it.
Yes, I'll post it
And then on your profile, we asked you, can you help out? Can you bring a case of water bottles? So if you're like, well, I don't know if I can help out, but I can bring water, that's great. Bring 2, even better. Because it is a community event, we really rely on everyone to
to
contribute.
program the Mr. Coffee.
My Arduino board done.
So Chris has got our sponsors page up. I do want to highlight one of the major sponsors at the top of that list. We're sitting in their offices tonight. Stauffer, a big round of applause just because we're here. We have a lot of familiar faces here tonight. If you want to say something, you can. This is Chris Stauffer. He runs Stauffer, and they're just a wonderful company here in Los Angeles. Give back to the community always, and has for many years. I don't know how else to talk you up. Maybe you want to.
I'll talk a little bit since I'm doing the presentation, then
Yeah.
we'll talk that.
Okay, good.
Jobs.
Yeah, so we've got some other announcements, so we can move over to that stuff. But I want to make sure that everybody's seeing the rest of the sponsors here. These are other very large companies that are nationally based here in the United States, also international, but a lot of them are also local companies here to Southern California. So if you see them at the camp, the booths, go over and talk to them. If you're a PHP developer, they may be looking for PHP people. If you're looking for a job, they may have a few things to say. They always have some nice swag to give away, that kind of stuff. So do the due diligence and walk around the booths and let them know that you appreciate them and you're happy that they sponsored this camp. Again, it's free because of the generous donations of people like Stauffer and the other companies that you see here.
Can I just throw out real quick? I noticed I was browsing through the sessions earlier this week. Noticed there's a lot more presenters from out of town. It's been a couple of years since we've had this much. I expect the camp to really grow and be pretty big this year.
I agree with
Just
It's exciting.
Observation, more networking.
I think they're trying to get visibility for next year's DrupalCon.
That's
Is what that is.
You're very observant, Mike. I like that.
Okay, so that's the camp. Again, last thing about it, it's free. So there's no reason why you shouldn't go. Even if you're out of town, you should go. So let's move on. We'll do news and job announcements. So show of hands, does anybody have a job announcement today? Let's start with you.
Yes, hi. Mario Hernandez. I work for Media Current, and we have a whole bunch of opportunities right now. We're hiring for, let me see here, HR manager, senior QA analyst, project manager, Drupal developer, solutions architect, director of client services. And just to give you a hint, I just started with them, and awesome company to work with. It's 100% remote. They provide competitive salary, $2,900 education reimbursement a year, great benefits, annual comfort retreat, great team, stock options, equipment, work with big name clients, NDA, all sorts of big clients. So, I have some business cards if you're interested.
Nice.
So see me and talk to me. I'll give you more detail. But awesome company to work with. Really excited about that.
You were reading off some of the job position titles. Is there a place that people can go to look at that?
Yes, if you go to mediacurrent.com/careers, you'll be able to see all the details about each of those openings there.
Wonderful.
So if you want to especially talk to me.
Thank you. So that's mediacurrent.com/careers for that job announcement.
And I also wanted to make the announcement again that I'm desperately, and I'm choosing that word very carefully, desperately looking for a freelance Drupal person to collaborate with. I'm losing my main person, and I need help very badly.
Developer or designer?
Programmer. Front end Drupal.
Okay.
So if you know anybody who's competent, I'll be happy to give you my business card. If you're,
Have you posted on our job board as well for this?
I think I did, yeah.
Okay. Just making sure. The job board, it has its pluses and minuses, but for this type of thing, you definitely want to make sure that you get to the community as a whole. And most of Southern California is listening to that. So, any other? You want them to come talk to you directly here tonight?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Any other job announcements?
I got one.
I also have one.
All right, let me do my real fast. LA Drupal is looking for graphic designer volunteers. I posted this on the job board. I got a bunch of replies from firms in India.
Yeah.
So that was great.
They're going to volunteer.
One of them said they would actually consider it to help their portfolio. So if somebody in actually LA or Southern California doesn't want to do it, we have somebody in India interested. I'm not sure if that really is what I planned, but what we really are looking for is just somebody helping us to kind of round out some of the marketing materials that we need. I'll be honest, it's always been a duocracy. I've done a majority of the materials. It's also been other people, like random little things here and there, signage, little pamphlet stuff, all this stuff. Well, basically, we want to kind of refresh that. I think it's time, and I need a little bit of help. What does that involve? It does not involve a $16,000 logo treatment exploration. Okay, that's not what we're looking for. We have the logo that we like. So the hard work's done, everybody. Okay, the logo's done. And this was not on Fiverr. I swear, I did not buy this on Fiverr. No, we have it already. But there's been some banner headers that I've done, like for the YouTube channel, for like our LinkedIn, area. There's again pamphlets, little signage. We're going to need some of that for the camp. We're going to need some of it for after the camp, just for the general, group page and stuff like that. If you've been going to the home page, we have a lot of space to work with for our groups page. So the easy thing would be is just to kind of get people a little bit excited here is the big red button. Well, it's great, and it's promoting the Drupal, the LA Drupal video channel on YouTube. How many here have actually been able to go explore it? Cool, cool. We more than tripled our subscriptions after we announced it at the meetup, so that was really cool. Anyway, this big red button's got to go away, and we want to put some more stuff, graphically about LA Drupal. So help us make us look good. We're a good group. We're a great group, actually. We're the second largest worldwide. Okay, and you get credit for volunteering. So again, if you don't want to lose out to somebody in India, you want to look. And there's nothing wrong, but it's just I really was shocked that I got 0 replies from people, here in Southern California, and I just got to market it probably a little bit better, and I understand that. So no heavy pressure. This is volunteer work, not paid. I'm sorry, but it is very minimal. It's very tight. It is very focused, so it's easy to do. Okay, thank you.
I would just bootstrap on that to say that, it's one of the reasons why I feel like I finally got involved in the community. It's like just kept getting and getting and getting and getting. And at some point, if you've been around for a while, if this is in your wheelhouse, please. If you know somebody else that can help us, please. Don't feel like, you have to comment and listen to everybody else. It's your community. Step in, take part of it, be part of it. Direct it, make it yours as well. So I would just point that out one more time.
Thank you.
Any other job announcements? I have one more. Do you have a job announcement?
Yeah, actually.
Please.
Hey guys, I'm Patrick Warler. I just moved to LA last week.
Patrick, hey, welcome to the Meetup group too.
Yeah. I just moved here from Boston. I finished the Museum of Fine Arts website there, so I'm like a mid-level developer, front end and back end. I need jobs, so anybody who wants to hire.
Woo! You walked in about 4 seconds too late. You want to go talk to this guy over here?
Yeah.
Raise your hand, Kevin. You want to talk to this guy? Back
Yeah, you just dropped blood in the water. So all right. We got a live one.
My name is Steve Rifkin. I work at my own small development shop here in Southern California. I have a main partner, Craig McIndowney, and I work together. We're now 5 developers strong, and we're looking for more people. We are only looking for contractors. We want people who will self-manage themselves. We're willing to mentor people, and we kind of have the luxury with 2 of our clients that we don't really care necessarily how much it costs, which is a little bit of a luxury in our world. So at the point where you need some work and you want to come and do neat, cool things that sometimes is Drupal, sometimes not Drupal, come talk to me tonight. I'm really only interested in finding people in our community. I've done the other route, and I've met those people from India via the job board. Very nice people, but not what we were looking for. So again, it's contract position, it's T&M, time and materials. So I don't need a bid on how long it takes for you to do this 5 things. I just want to see how you work, and hopefully it works out. And again, we've grown over the last 6 months, and we're looking to do that a little bit more. So if you've got the time, we've got the. Never mind.
That jingle.
Yeah. Okay. Any news and announcements in the community? We've already done DCLA 2014 because that is a big thing coming up. So we have some announcements for the community.
We have our Burbank study group next week.
Great. You want to tell us a little more about that?
Yes.
Stand up.
1 hour of Q&A, basically. Like,
Is this you're standing up?
Yes. It's 1 hour of Q&A about anything that you're doing with Drupal. If you're stuck on it, just come by, ask questions. We're glad, as a group, we'll try and help you out with it. And the second hour is going to be we're trying stuff with Drupal 8. So we're in the process of trying to build out just a site with Drupal 8 just to see where we can go with it. And we're trying a new thing next week called mob programming, which is where we'll be all kind of rotating through the group, like programming or whatever on one particular issue at a time. So then that way it's going to be so that everyone kind of understands Drupal 8 at the same pace as everyone else.
That's great.
Instead of working on different issues.
That's great. It helps if you bring your own computer, or is that?
No, we'll have a computer, we have a monitor or projector,
Okay.
It's all kind of ready to go.
That's good. The semicolon button on my computer's broken, so I would just be that. So great, Burbank meetup happening, more hands-on than our meetup here, where we do presentations, panels, community sharing, a really good resource in the community in Burbank. Any other announcements, news and announcements for the community? Announcements? Again?
When's Drupal 8 coming out?
Yeah, wait.
It's been out for a week, isn't it?
Q2.
No, it's never going to come out because we want you to rebuild that site every time you have to do something. Okay, I believe we're up to presentation for the evening. This is going to be driven by Stauffer tonight. Are you going to be speaking, or is it somebody else?
Myself and Adson.
Yeah, you guys want to set
We're
up?
going to do double time.
Great. Cool. Let's set it up, and we've got our YouTube channel running, and I think you guys are you're definitely prepared for the evening.
Oh yeah, we
we
came prepared.
So everybody, let's give the Stauffer crew a very warm welcome. HDMI? Yeah.
Actually, we're going to be doing both. So
Both.
can we do this to Adson?
Yeah. You guys can plug
screen,
in.
sometimes.
So you guys are gonna be flipping
And
back.
then we're also going to go to the Kindle Fire also.
Ooh. This just can't move.
Oh yeah.
We good. We.
Quick show of hands, how many here are new tonight? First time? Welcome. Bye. You guys are working. All right, cool, welcome. So for those that don't know, because sometimes we get people that just literally flew in from Boston maybe a week ago, that's great. But we meet every month, right now the second Tuesday of every month for the main meetup. And then every week there are other group meetups like the study group. There's a bunch of stuff going on basically every week. So, well, you guys are pretty much ready? Yeah. Okay. While we get rolling here, a couple people are grabbing some food. I just want to thank everybody for showing up. And we always want your suggestions. So please, if you have any questions or suggestions, please hit up anybody that was up here up front through the night. Carrie.
I'll have some money to join the Drupal Association.
Yeah, I was going to do that later. I have to kind of get my Now? Yeah. No, he's ready. It's great. All right. Sorry. Okay, real quick, for those that don't know, the Drupal Association is an organization that helps manage and shepherd all things Drupal. We are not that organization. We are a regional group, the Los Angeles Drupal Group. Like you heard earlier, we are the second largest in the world. That's a real big deal for us, so we enjoy that. But, not everybody is a coder, okay? Not everybody can contribute code back to Drupal. So there's another way that the Drupal Association enables people to contribute back, which is through money, through monetary, orders. Yeah. In the magnitude of personal, like $35, or maybe an organization starting at like, 100, 120 bucks-ish. But if you're a big company, doing a lot of Drupal, or you really want to flex, how much technical awesomeness your company has, because maybe you go more than just, a few websites for, building Drupal now and then. Maybe you really make a good chunk of your money on Drupal. Stauffer has actually been very public about what percentage their Drupal work has been at their firm. So if you're a big player in Drupal or you're growing in Drupal, there are other divisions in the several $1,000 range, but they actually put you as a partner level. And that really helps differentiate your firm from everybody else who's a Drupal shop, per se. Okay, so if you're also maybe looking for a job, this might actually be one of your great avenues to find out what companies are actually a Drupal Association member, and then actually join that, because you yourself then would be under that umbrella as well. I really don't have my slide up, so I'm a little unprepared, thanks. But I think I can actually now call in Kerry and make him talk about it a little bit more, because he wants to say something.
I'm just going to say one thing. Even if you are a Drupal devotee that puts 1,000 hours a year into core development, it's in your own best interest to cough up 35 bucks, become a member, and help support the organization that gets the word out for what you do and keeps the website running where your stuff is, and it's
also a sliding scale. You don't have to cough up 35. You can cough up.
You can, yeah, exactly. You can, but you can donate more.
You need to start somewhere.
But what Kerry's saying is,
I'd rather have your 35.
If you've had your head down, working in Drupal, participating in Drupal, and you haven't actually just, lifted your head up to really think about marketing yourself, that $35 to get that badge, to get that icon, put it on your blog, your business card, any marketing material, email newsletter that goes out,
in your resume, slap that puppy in there. I mean, resumes are PDF a lot of times nowadays, so you can have something a little bit more graphical. Do that for yourself. It's important. And if you're an organization, the $100, the 180, whatever level you choose, yeah, I mean, there's stuff that low, 250, even some of them. I don't remember the exact numbers, but these are very easy amounts that I think can be justified within your organization.
My company was one of the first supporting partners. We're tiny. You know, if we can do it, your company, if you have a few people, can do it too.
Right.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised. The media current, you know, one of the job announcers tonight is already a Drupal Association member. Stauffer's been a Drupal Association member. You know, a bunch of us individually are all members. Quick show of hands. How many are an individual member? Right. So, I mean, this is a thing. Okay. I'm not going to bug you anymore tonight about it, but I will bug you next month, and the month after, and the month after. So thank you very much. And please, let's get back right into our presentation. Stauffer Media Group. Thank you.
How come you don't have your Drupal Association logo
On the slides? I don't know. I never
Next month it'll
It's on the website. All right. Well, good evening, everybody. So I think I probably know about at least half of you about here. So my name is Chris Stauffer. I am the founder of Stauffer. Big shocker there. I have been an engineer for quite some time now, although these days I'm a little bit more on the business side and a little bit less on the tech side. So I decided to bring one of my young engineers with me, Adson. Adson here is, I'll call him the primary author of the system that we're going to go through and demo and review today. Adson probably wrote, I'm going to say, probably about a third to half of the overall code, right around in there. He's pretty familiar with the system. That's next slide. Down arrow.
There we go.
Okay, so the big idea. So the way we figure it, we're here in Los Angeles. We're like the middle of the world as far as media and video is concerned. So a little while ago, we were basically talking amongst ourselves, and we realized that we'd done, I think, 4 different, I'll call them video-based websites. And what we really learned was that most of the different video websites we did were all pretty common. Like, a lot of them had a lot of the same functionality, a lot of the same features and things like that. They have a different graphic design, maybe a different delivery mechanism, but most of the systems, you know, at their real core, were kind of the same. And I had a really interesting experience when my father, who is probably one of the most technologically back-assward people like that you can find, I don't even think he had an email account until like 2005. I saw him actually using an app on his television. And it kind of blew my mind. I couldn't get him to get an email account until 2005. But when he remodeled the downstairs of his house, he got a new TV, and it had a button on it that said apps. And he pressed it, and it worked. And he found ESPN. Well, that was kind of when I thought to myself, well, if my dad can figure that out, yeah, that's pretty much where everything's going to go. So, started talking to the team members, kind of came up with this concept of having an open video project. I did a lot of research out there. There was some stuff that was done previously. I don't know if any of you guys have ever heard of Videola or not. I did reach out to the Videola guys, contacted them, Lullabot, said, hey guys, what's up with Videola? I'll like help you with it because I think that'd be cool. And they said, we don't really care. Like we're not supporting that anymore. And that was on Drupal 6. And back in the day, I actually had Mr. Knight sitting there in the middle, pick it up and play with it a little bit. And he's like, yeah, dude, it doesn't really work all the way. And he had to kind of monkey with it a lot, and it really just wasn't, well, in our opinion, ready for prime time, considering that it was also on D6, which, as most of you in the room know, we're on D7 right now, hopefully 8 sometime soon. But, you know, us, you know, trying to create a product or expanding a product that was in D6 just kind of seemed silly. So we decided we were just going to start a new one. So that's basically what we did. So we wanted to thank Kids in the House. We actually have Solomon here today. Solomon is a senior developer at Kids in the House. Kids in the House has been one of our clients for quite some time now. Got a really good relationship with Leanna, who's the CEO. And I asked Leanna a little while back, I said, hey, I'm doing this kind of like open video project. Your content's really cool. Can we use it? Because I'll just make an app for you and I won't even charge you for it. And her response to me was, can we put ads on there? If so, yeah, do it. Because from her perspective, more eyeballs. So that's basically what we started to do. Okay, so first thing, and I'm not sure how many of you are familiar with this, but how many of you guys and girls know what MRSS means? Does anyone? Show of hands, yes? Okay, so a decent amount. Okay, so how about RSS? How many of you guys are familiar with that? Okay, that we got pretty much everybody, great. Okay, so as you can see, RSS plus IMDb equals MRSS. And I know that sounds a little silly, but normal RSS, you've got things like title tags, author and stuff like that. So MRSS still has all that stuff. But then you basically kind of throw in the data model that you could suck out of IMDb, and now you basically have MRSS. So it kind of gives you things like media assets, the actual video files, thumbnails. You can even put in like actor descriptions and metadata and stuff like that. It's actually really, really feature rich. And for those of you that have played in video for a long time, one of the things you'll learn is that's kind of like how every video system talks to each other. So if you were ever going to syndicate content from one system into another system, that's pretty much the way you do it. And for those of you that know much about video SEO, so pretend you go on to Google and you type in, a search query for, how to burp your baby. We'll use a Kids in the House example. So if you were to do that, you'd then see a list of search results, and a couple of times you'd see like a little video thumbnail. And you may wonder to yourself, how do I become that thumbnail? Well, what you do is you just put a little entry into your robots.txt file that points to your MRSS out, and then the Google goblets will spider you and ingest you accordingly. So pretty much any big site or big system that's out there that really knows a whole lot about the video game has some sort of MRSS out. So in our mind, that was the perfect abstraction layer to actually build this system with. All right, so this totally looks like half a diagram, because it is. I literally did this diagram and thought to myself, damn it, I can't read any of it. And so we decided to chop it up into two primary components, import and export. So as you can see here first, we've got import. So what we did with Kids in the House, as you can see the little client system thing up there, is Solomon over there wrote a MRSS out. So it's basically every single video that they actually have in the system, which right now for Kids in the House is about $8 grand-ish. I don't know, are we more than that now?
Close to 9,000 now, but over 8,500.
Ish.
Yeah.
Yes, Steve.
Did you do that in views, or did you?
Well, I have two different versions. One is not in views. It's just like does the MySQL and outputs it directly, and I use the batch API, so it doesn't kill my page and memory limits. But people wanted changes, so I ended up doing it in views and just custom theming that, so I could make fast changes. I want to add this tag, change this, so it's much faster than the tool. So we have both versions.
And that being said, you have to turn on the views caching.
Yes, absolutely.
And to your point, Steve, when we get to the next slide that's like right about here, he will be showing us exactly how he did the MRSS out.
Good job, everybody.
So, all right, so we've got the ingestion. So we basically took, there's a feeds module that was created that will already parse RSS. So we basically took that and then extended it to actually add in basically the parsing of the M part of the RSS. And we'll have him walk through a little bit of that in a couple minutes. So that'll make it so that we can then ingest all of Kids in the House's video assets and basically create content nodes. One of the other main purposes for the way that this was architected is you notice up there how we've got a little Akamai logo, a little Kaltura, a little Brightcove action, a little Uyala as well. So for those of you that are aware of this, a lot of those guys will actually create and house your video assets. So I know, like, when we were working on Hub Network, they were all in Bright Cove. I know Kids in the House is in Bright Cove. You know, I mean, pretty much every single major media dude is going to be, like, in one of those.
Choose one of them. NBC Universal's in Kaltura.
Yeah, Steve.
When you say create, you mean transcode?
Well,
Because I guess they'll suck it in. They'll suck in the primary media file. But if you're on like NBC on Kaltura, because we have a couple clients on Kaltura that we have different flavors that we use for that transcoding. So is that
for like the adaptive streaming and stuff like
yes,
that?
HLS.
Yeah. So exactly to Steve's point, a lot of those video providers will do all sorts of fun stuff. One of the main things that they do, to his point, is transcoding and transmog. So like you'll basically give them the 1080p version, and then they'll like spit out a 720, a 360, a 480, and I don't know, maybe even a 121. You know, for people that are where I grew up.
That's what your dad's looking at.
Now he actually lives in suburban Colorado, so he actually has a decent internet connection. But I seriously be willing to bet where I grew up is still 56K. I'm not joking.
Hearing the sounds right now.
It might. I bet my phone would kick its ass. Pretty sure. Yeah, exactly. Okay, so we also, just because this is Drupal, and we did just create video nodes, you could just go in and add them. Yeah. So we made sure that that was there as well. So we bring that all in, and we basically have this listed as uncategorized content, which now we'll go to the next one. Okay, so now we talk about how it goes out. Okay, so with Kids in the House, we have a young woman who's a content manager named Morgan, and we basically had to chop up all of those 8,000 videos, because when you really think about it, like let's pretend you're sitting on your couch and you're playing around with, say, you know, Netflix or like HBO Go or something like that. There's only so many different like categories and stuff you're actually going to look at, you know, because people get paralyzed by too much choice. And that is one of the challenges that Kids in the House has, is way too much choice. Because when you got 8,000 videos, yeah, that's a lot of videos. So chances are someone's not going to actually browse through, you know, and randomly look at them. Okay, and the TV is much more of a I'm going to call it a navigation device than it is a searching device. That kind of makes sense. So people are kind of browsing through categories and clicking on stuff. You know, that's pretty much what they did. So what we had to do is, can you bring up the Kids in the House site while he's doing that? Yep.
Sony's design team calls it an X and Y design. That's the access that you're locked in essentially to the whole thing. So everything is top down, left and right. Yeah.
Top down, left, right. So there's actually a word for that.
Yes, it's like
totally
from the ITV days.
An X and Y design. I've always heard it called the 10-foot user experience.
No,
Is that like the same thing?
Yeah,
or
that's
not?
just like the 10-foot. That one is the like they would only be able to see billboards. They wouldn't see posters on a street level.
Right.
That makes sense. So that's what you're designing against.
All right. So were you able to bring that up or not?
Was that word X and Y?
It was XY access. I'll look it up, but it was an awesome presentation that I was at a conference that I was participating in, and yeah, Sony and everybody have been dealing with this for a long time. Before smart TVs, they were trying to do these interfaces for special branded areas of DirecTV. So yeah, this is way before the new TV revolution. But you have to think about it almost like DVD menu programming. So that's what it's all derived from.
Okay, so just wanted to show you guys this for a quick second. So mouse over all parents. This is just one of their top level categories. And then go into pregnancy. Yeah, you're not clicking through that.
That's a mega.
Yeah, that takes mega menu to a whole other echelon of mega in menu.
But there's a picture here.
There is. Okay, so one of the main reasons I wanted to show you guys this is because it is rather daunting. Now, if you're up at 3 o'clock in the morning and you're trying to figure out why your kid won't shut up, you might want to come just search, you know, on your desktop, and that would totally work. However, if you're chilling on the couch, yeah, you maybe not wanting to search so much. Let's go back to the main screen for a second. One more up.
So what's the responsive version of that?
So back up one slide.
Oh.
Up. There we go. Okay, so what we did is we made it so that we could feature kind of more like, I'll call it the best content. And so Morgan basically went through and kind of like selected the best content, and then we reorganized it in a much simpler, kind of more like KISS principle of engineering, kind of like design, so that you didn't have to really look at as much stuff. So now that we've got that content then reorganized, which we're going to show in a little bit too.
I don't mean to keep telling you, I just want to bring that back to Drupal.
Sure.
So what she went through as a content administrator and selected the best content, that I'm hearing field API. I'm hearing you guys had a field in
Close.
there.
What we did is we took taxonomy, and then, and Adson's going to show this here in a couple minutes, where Kevin Harrington, who comes here a lot but couldn't be here tonight, basically wrote a custom drag and drop interface, because our theory was that if I'm going to try and talk someone like Morgan into recategorizing all of her content,
That's a good week.
wow, that sucks.
Yeah.
So like we better make it at least kind of easy to do, because if like, I don't know, Scott, how many videos does Pivot have up on its website right now? Do you know?
I don't know, but
You know, maybe 1,000.
Will you be showing the tagging interface?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
So is this
it daunting.
so the difference between your standard web interface
Correct.
for a user, this is a separate taxonomy that you have for this MRSSD.
That's correct, sir. Okay, so now once we've got it in, we're then going to go through, and we kind of thought from an abstraction layer, since you've only got a certain number of assets that you're sending, and we want the responsiveness of the app to go like hell fast, we figured we'd be better off to just simply have that spit out via, to your point, Rifkin, a view that is MRSS, that then the Android TV app actually ingests, parses, and caches locally on the device. That way it goes really, really freaking fast. Because you don't want to like click on something.
That's that one call for Netflix where you see the little wheel, but once it loads.
Yeah, exactly. So we decided we were just going to have the whole thing cached locally on the actual device. Now, right now, what we have ready to demo today is basically the Kindle Fire, which I don't know how many of you know, is basically just an Android device. I didn't know that until we looked it up. Hudson also got that actually working for traditional Android devices as well. And when he set it up, he just did it in what I'm going to call responsive design pattern, where he just said like if the screen, is the size, so kind of like, I'll call it Android media queries, for lack of a better analogy. So we do have that up and rocking. We also have it set up for MRSS so that we could, in theory, then pass that out to anybody else that we decide we want to, because now we've recategorized that into a skinnier set of content that we may want to then syndicate out, thus kind of making Drupal serve as a middleware to a certain extent. Now we've got the Samsung Smart TV app. That's about 75, 85% of the way done. That's most of the way there. We've also got the Roku app designed, but we haven't actually written a single line of code because it's proprietary. And we're trying to figure out how to get in, if we can ever get them to return our emails, to get onto the Xbox, but I don't know. My guess is since we're open source people, they don't like us. I don't know.
SDK fee 15 grand, sorry.
It's 15 grand?
Yeah, the PlayStation has gotten cheaper though. You can do that for 5.
And warranty on Roku, their approval process is terrible.
Yeah.
Really?
It takes forever. And not only that, if you have an update or change, good luck.
And Roku even is pushing against their own API and pushing for the Chromecast integration because it's a lower, it's easy for them to just authorize that.
Really?
And yeah, I mean they're trying to still phase out Roku 2 API, but maybe a lot of people still stuck.
Conference call tomorrow.
That's
Yeah,
funny.
Roku's up.
Yeah, what we noticed.
But it just highlights that this is a fragmented problem still.
It is.
There is no one stick to just wave at it. And by you creating the middleware and even using Drupal, now the website content goes up and they're publishing out to a whole new channel.
Yep.
This, for a lot of people, this would be a holy grail if they were very big into the video play market.
MRSS.
Pretty much. And the one that we didn't even talk about at all is we actually did make a responsive website for it too.
Oh.
Yeah, so it can work through the normal web, like
Standard Drupal
normal Drupal. So yeah, it's just a standard Drupal theme that's responsive. Nothing really too mind-blowing to anybody in this room. when it comes to that one. All right, so.
How about vehicle support? Can I watch these videos in my car?
You're supposed to watch the road, dude. Although maybe if we hack the Tesla, you can get it to show up on that big sexy display.
Oh, I can't say
It is just Linux. All right, next slide. All right, so now we're going to go into some of the details. So first thing we're going to do is we're actually going to show you guys how we're actually doing the MRSS ingestion. That's it. You want to actually show that? Escape, buddy. Escape.
Alt tab.
Spacebar. Listen, power. Command W.
Hit the any key.
The any key.
Okay, so what we did here, wanted to show you one thing here. So this is basically what MRSS
XML.
actually looks like. For real?
It is.
Pretty much just XML. Yeah, nice and big. One of the things we noticed that we did run into a small challenge with was when we first got Solomon's first thing. We had 8,000 videos in one RSS thing. Yeah, that didn't work out very well. So we did build in paging, which I think, is that what you do with the views?
Yeah, or you can specify our page you want. And then
Right.
sense it.
So we had Kevin basically extend the first parser that we did to make it so that it could actually iterate through a pager, which, yeah, then it actually worked because I think Adson made it through ingesting about like 20 pages or something like that. And then I was like, how many do you have to do? He's like, I don't know, it's like 1,000. I go, no, stop. We're programmers. You don't do 1,000 things manually. That's against the rules. We need to look through that. So yeah, that's kind of the bigger one. And then we just made a little simple one here just to show you guys today that it could actually work.
As opposed to.
Yeah, as opposed to it not actually working. Well, we have one new demo asset that we're going to ingest. So you basically just paste it in there, press the import button, and it just, because you didn't delete the old one out. Yeah, one of the things we also did is we set it up so that it uses GUIDs to uniquely identify all the videos, because we could see examples of, I don't know, say, we layered this on top of Pivot TV with Scott. Well, once we ingest everything, I want to be able to go, can I add the new stuff? And not have it copy everything over again. So it'll actually go through and recognize and look for changes and then perform updates on that, still leaving the same node ID with the same taxonomy. So if you previously categorized everything, it doesn't like screw that all up. So all it'll do is just kind of update the nodes, but given that we did the demo earlier when we were practicing.
And it keeps going also. It keeps checking if there's any files. So it keeps updating itself.
Oh, cool.
What did you call that?
Oh, GUID. It's a globally unique ID. So it's basically a super silly long string about that long. Fingerprint, sure. That makes it so that no one will ever have the same one. That's kind of the theory behind that. All right, so did you delete that one?
Oh, you'll need to.
Yeah, just delete it.
Technically in RSS, you should be having publishing a GUID because of feed readers updating and making sure that they're not going to double publish content or anything like that.
So that's basically, to his point, like how we double check to make sure we've already got it, because it'd be really stupid to get duplicates. Yeah?
So feeds.
Yeah.
You should pause here and tell people. we have some new people here. So explain what that is up the top, please.
DPM.
So this is the devel module. If anybody's new to Drupal, this is a godsend if you're working on the PHP side and you don't want to keep printing things out. This is a function that's DPM. Look it up. It will help you. Nice kimono styled drop-down arrays and objects to look at.
Your IDE doesn't just keep track of the value of.
Well, it does, but if you're not using an IDE, this is a very nice tool.
Arguably nicely styled.
Say again?
Arguably nicely styled.
Arguably. Okay.
Those options.
No, I like mine with red top.
I like that mustard.
Is a GUID different than a UUID?
No. No.
It's pretty unique.
No, it just depends what year you adopted it.
I was gonna say, I probably remember it. Kind of the same.
No, they are the same.
It depends on the globe versus the universe.
Just in case you're writing code. Well, you know, I mean, we're writing on SpaceX, so maybe if we're writing code on the moon,
Yeah.
then now you can't use a global.
Right.
The answer is it's too limited.
It's too limited.
for
Too
long.
limited.
Planetary.
All right. Okay, so now that we got that going for us, we're going to drop over and go into the taxonomy. Okay, so for those of you that are familiar with this is a very, very straightforward, you know, standard Drupal taxonomy. There's nothing that we did tricky here. The only thing that I will say is that we tried to keep it at 2 levels of categories, more from a user experience perspective, not because the system can't hang. So the way, you know, and we'll show you when we get into the app in just a second, it'll basically just traverse to any child category, you know, when it's making its decision what to do. It literally says, like, do I have kid categories? If I do, show kid categories. If I don't have any child categories, then show the video assets that are a part of this category. So we tried to make it so that, like, all parents, for example, you shouldn't be putting videos into all parents. You should be putting videos into family or building self-esteem or parenting styles. So we wanted to try and keep the content all categorized at the leaf, you know, portion of that taxonomy. So now we're going to go into the Terminator. Okay, so
Oh, yeah.
yeah.
This is what he built, right?
This is what Kevin built. So over here, we basically just got the same taxonomy over there.
Have you seen this boy?
Have you seen this boy? So now you can take that Drupal Meetup thing and just drag it,
Nice.
and he's just going to drop it into there.
Oh,
And so now it's there. And so now he can just say save changes, and now he's done.
Well done, Ken. Well done, Ken.
You could do like 50 of those at the same time, 100 of those at the same time. I don't know. We haven't really load tested it. I don't know. How many did Morgan do at once, or do you know?
Well, we use
My guess is like 20, 50. I don't know.
with that API, it wouldn't really matter.
There's a lot of different, like, sessions.
Yeah, I think she did it probably spanning what, 2 weeks,
Yeah.
something like that. Okay.
But
So-
8,000 videos total?
Well, we categorized I think
Over, yeah.
450.
Yeah.
But these are just the best of those 8,000.
Right.
Okay. Yeah, we basically just kind of, you know, when I was back doing ringtones, you know, we called it merchandising. So we would basically merchandise the pimp stuff to basically show up on the homepage.
So now for new content that they add, instead of going through this, is there a taxonomy on the node form for them to?
They could, after it had been, say we had a new thing that was ingested in, the theory being, and this kind of came back to my experience back in InfoSpace. So for those of you that don't know, I used to do a lot of stuff in the ringtone industry, and what we learned was you could put 50 Cent in the Club on the homepage in the top middle, and then he'd sell like $1 million of ringtones in like a day. And I'm not actually exaggerating. That's what happened. And then we would put someone else in that same slot, and then we'd sell like $20,000. So it made an enormous difference, you know, how we actually merchandised and featured that content. Because when you really think about it, people are lazy as hell. They don't want to look for stuff. They want to show up when they're, you know, sitting on the couch after a long day of work and just have stuff spoon-fed to them, you know, what they want.
Yes.
So once we actually, you know, move forward and launch the app, which I'm literally, you guys are all seeing this before Leanna even has, which is kind of funny. I'm showing her on Friday. So yeah, in theory, Morgan should be going through and starting to kind of swap out like what featured videos, you know, we decide we're going to have on the homepage. You know, that way, I don't know, new parent or whatever that comes down and, you know, sits down on the couch and loads up the app is basically seeing new content that should be merchandised and selected. It really, you know, as much as the nerd in me wants to say it should be automated, I learned just from the School of Hard Knocks at InfoSpace, like that's fucking horrible. You know, you really, really have to keep track of all the views and how well content is performing in each one of those slots, because it does make a huge difference. So does that kind of answer your question?
I think so, yeah. Like there's more curation involved.
Oh yeah, it really is, like, sadly all about curation.
How do you take something out of the taxonomy?
You can base, good question.
Oh, yeah, you have to, currently you gotta go into content. You gotta go yeah.
What was the answer?
When he said swap in and out, it's like, oh,
Yeah,
what was the answer to the question?
I think we'd honestly have to just go into the
node
and remove it. So we're gonna probably need to come up with a sexy way of
or
going back out.
or views bulk operations, they could pull up ones and tag with that tag, they can then pull them out in bulk. There is that already, so they.
Yeah, we're gonna have to think about that, Mike.
So when you fix that, my question, so he answered my question, which is why do you have to hit save? Why not just drag and drop?
But that's an experience I do.
I will be totally honest, I have no freaking clue.
So
I just
you
told
talk
Kevin
to
to
the
go
user
fast.
experience, drag, oops, I dragged it to the wrong spot, I need to move it, but that fixes it first.
What if you have
Just deleting
many
things.
saves that you want to do at once?
Say that again?
What if you have 5 terms that you drag into?
Yeah, it gives
Isn't that a nice
some
option?
lag depending on how the response time is. Like,
I'm just saying why.
Drags like crazy into the
All I'm
drag
saying
video.
is users drag.
no, experience that.
Yeah, you're saying you mean the time in
Just
between.
give me
That's
the people that aren't the same button. What
All
happened?
right.
One real good point though about taxonomies is that a lot of people maybe, everyone kind of thinks of tags, but you can program them. You can make them actually a little bit more useful. One of the ideas was a comment about scheduling and how a person manually has to go each week. Now, there should be some oversight, obviously, because it's content being published for the week. But really, one of the easy things I would do is I would create a taxonomy group of week numbers. There's 52 weeks in the year. I can literally schedule up, multiple weeks. Exactly, and then the view, the query that's built in the MRSS could filter based on the existing week, and then come right after midnight for the following week, it flips right over. Oh wait, I'll send you the bill. But what I want to point out is that this interface. I'll be honest, probably for some of the newbies looking at Drupal, going, well, I would expect an interface maybe kind of like this already in Drupal, and it really kind of hasn't gone there. So we do have to kind of come up with these better experiences. It takes a little bit more time and nuance to get those, little bits out. I even uttered real quick a drop state. It didn't have a drop state that really blinked or indicated, which one I was dropping right into. So that's all experience, for sure. But taxonomies as being the foundation, instead of using something new, building a whole other column or field from scratch, that was the best approach, because now they're getting the most out of Drupal. And really, when this, the pieces of this come out, or we start using other pieces of this, we can integrate with this easier. We're not kind of doing this extra solution just to categorize.
And I was looking at it from a code review point, and I was really cool.
Yeah, no, the interface is great.
Yeah. So
I expect it
I'm
early published with documentation tomorrow morning. Thank you.
We're still working on that.
Yeah, that's after the conference call.
All right, that's what
Okay, that's after the conference call. Yes?
Do you do any ordering of things within the category?
I don't remember how that works. Do you?
I did some ordering, but that was on the Android side. So I sorted alphabetically when I ingested.
That's a good point, though. We should probably actually figure that out at some point.
The easy solution, a lot of people here would probably say is no queue would be one of the easy things we have to interface.
Is all over the place, so.
Right.
But this version, I think it's important.
Yeah. Main thing that we were really looking for is let's get the damn thing up.
Good job.
And then we'll iterate.
Good job.
All right. So where are we going next, Johnson?
I thought you wanted to show it, or we can talk about the view.
Okay. So next thing we're going to talk about, is the actual export mechanism. So do you want to just show the view?
Who here has a view of their views? Yeah, viewless? Yeah, I know that. That's fine.
Even easier.
Oh, that's right. Very cursive.
Okay, all right, so here's actually the view. As you can see, we basically did this just using the RSS feed out. And the way that we kind of filtered, from the original 8,000 videos is basically what we did. And this is like the one thing that you would have to really do like totally custom with this code, is he went through and said, show me everything and their kids for all parents, babies, little kids, tweens, and teens. Because basically those were like the 4 top level categories that we had in there. So it was that, any of his children, that was basically how we decided, what was actually going to show up. And then he went through over here and added in a lot more of the actual MRSS fields so that we could actually get that in the view. Rifkin, to your point, we did do the content-based caching, and before we had that turned on, wow, was that shit slow. Like, mind-numbingly slow.
For everyone who's building views, it's not a must, but if you have a lot of anonymous visitors to your site, even if not anonymous, I mean, this is one of your best buttons to click in views is to get the cache on.
And if it was a feature you looked at a long time ago and ignored it because its basic default settings were 1 minute, 5 minutes, 6 hours, there is now content-based purge and expire plugins that will literally update the view when only those certain node types are updated, okay, or something that would appear in the view. And it will eat up a little bit of CPU for a split second or two.
But you want that.
But you want that because then you're not getting hit, or really you're not ignoring that content cache setting because you're like, well, I don't know when it's going to update, and you really don't want it kind of flushing every 6 hours if it's, hefty.
Really, what is Mr. Cache over here?
Yeah.
What do you want to say?
There's the views caching module that automatically turns on caching for all of your views. Because people forget it, that it's there.
Right.
So this module just turns it on.
Well, that module is great, but I think pushing people probably to the production report, these other ones, the pre-deployment kind of checklists, those actually do emphasize turning on views caching.
They do, but that one is a really, really good module.
Because it just does it?
Yeah.
Yes.
And then you can come back and fine tune.
It just makes you do whether you want to or not.
Right. Anyway, views caching, great stuff. Let's go.
So basically, where do you go, dude?
Do you want to talk about category?
Okay. So yeah, that's pretty much the view. Does anybody have any questions? Any other questions on the view or how we did that? Going once, going twice?
Good job.
Okay. So the one thing that is kind of a pain in the butt that we did, which is a total hack, is there's no real way in MRSS out for you to actually have an image for a category. For some reason that isn't there. Because
you mean in the spec?
In the spec. There's no way of passing in an image for a category. So I mean
That's
I
an
think
implementation choice. So the spec does allow you to put a media element inside, and the media element could be your bitmap, your thumbnail asset. And then your client has to read it then. So it's not part of something that is expected, because really it's.
I didn't actually know that. I mean, being blunt, what we did just as a hack, and what we were going to show here, is we basically just made it so that, say you have a category named all parents, then all it is allparents.jpg. And then we just made a way to upload the image. Because we figured you can't really make it much simpler than that. And there was really no mechanism for attaching those images to it. So literally what we did is we just put in this lovely little tool here, IMCE, and made a little folder called category pictures, and you just drop them in there. And until you loaded up the Kindle Fire and you stopped seeing broken thumbnails, you ain't done. Pretty much. Probably could have been a little more elegant than that, but hell, it works. So we got that going for us. Yes?
So then the picture name, the JPG matches the category name? And that's
Correct.
Okay.
Correct. Now we do have thumbnails for the actual videos and stuff like that. But we just didn't have a category for a thumbnail for family and stuff like that. And since Morgan had tons and tons and tons and tons of awesome family pictures, she just picked them all out for us and made it look all pretty and stuff like that.
It has a big impact on when it's displayed in these TV interfaces.
Yes. Oh, it really does, and that's. I think isn't that next on the lovely list is to actually show the actual real app now. Okay, so what do we have on the next slide? Okay, so now we're going to talk about the actual Kindle Fire app. So basically what we did is we started off by just parsing the XML, and I already forgot what the library was that you used. What was that?
XML pull parser.
Yeah, XML pull parser. It's just a standard point a URL, it goes and grabs the XML and then parses it into an object. So that's basically the first thing we do. We determine the category structure. Then we basically utilize the tree map to just set up the parent-child categories, dynamically create the menu. And that's pretty much really all there is. So now, steal that. And yes, by the way, we will have this in the store. Oops. So right now, the reason why it's pausing a second is it's literally downloading all of that MRSS, and it's basically parsing it for the pre-cache. And as you can see, it didn't really take that long. So it's really not that bad.
Did you test it reading to 8,000? I mean 1,000. Sorry, that
no.
we did the subset.
No, we tried.
Have you noticed it is linear in the wait time based on RSS feed size?
No.
Okay.
Honestly, we didn't think about it that hard. Being totally honest, we just basically, I just know from just experience of managing content systems that are kind of like this, that if you put too many categories in there, people won't go through all of them. And so we pretty much modeled this from a UI just after pretty much every other app that you can see out there. So as you can see, it's a fairly simple interface. That basically opens up a menu, so we can go to all parents, babies, little kids, tweens and teens. You can go through all the different child categories. So these are basically the different child categories.
Ooh, parental stress and anger.
Parental stress and anger.
So that is the thumbnail, dude.
I like the building stuff. It seems like.
So here, ironically enough, we actually have another one of our clients. How to stop yelling at your kids. Oh, this is the #1 video?
This is the #1 video.
The user experience works. So yes, evidently the user experience works.
This is your 50 cent ringtone right here.
Yeah, this is the 50-cent ringtone in the cloud. So as you can see here, we basically just have the title, the actual description. We did build it in, but it's not in here. We have things like, like ratings and stuff like that. So if it's like, TVMA, it'll show that, but we didn't really have that data for kids in the house, and I don't know. It's all, I guess it's pretty family friendly, but we just
there is a module. There's a module that actually does give you a field, and it has a list of all the predefined ratings. It has international and US.
We just set it up to do garbage in, garbage out. So
what's garbage in, garbage out for those that don't know?
Oh, what that means is when we parse the MRSS and it comes in, if it says in the rating field TVMA, it shows up here, TVMA. So if you put in Chris Charlton, it would show Chris Charlton as the rating. Hence, garbage in, garbage out.
Wait. How high is that rating, Charlton? No.
Ooh, I don't know. It's definitely above TVMA.
I would only appreciate that. All right, so this is all from the Drupal feed. Title, node, body.
So all of this is the data that you basically saw ingested. We kind of stole the concept of how HBO Go does it with the related content.
Right.
But literally all the related content, we didn't go all hardcore with like a recommendation engine. We just put the other stuff in the category.
Yeah.
Because we figured that's pretty much good enough. And when we started thinking about more what I'll call like traditional TV, you could have it set up to where, like, say we were having the TV show Entourage, you could have like season 1 as the category and then episode 1. And then so down here you'd see, season 1, episode 2, 3, 4, 5. So you basically have, them all pretty much straight across, because most TV networks kind of have their content kind of organized in show, and then season, which is basically the child category, and then episodes, which is pretty much kind of what that was modeled after, because we knew that's pretty much how that would work. And now we'll just go in and play one of the exciting videos, and then wonder, wow, we don't have the sound hooked up.
Is this the iPhone 6 release?
All right.
I'm a lip reader.
He's shouting at him anyway.
Hit your kids.
Yeah. Nice stuff.
Like the best
Was that so I don't hurt my thumb?
When hitting, right? The thumb goes in.
Evidently, we had no sound, because we totally failed testing that one thing underneath.
It wasn't
I don't know, we probably just didn't set it up. Whatever, it does have sound, trust me. And one of the things that we didn't need to talk about with Solomon later was, dude, we need higher quality video coming through, because I know we have them. It's just not in the MRSS feed, we noticed.
So my question was actually going to be around video source. This is actually coming from the video part.
It's coming from Brightcove.
What do you want? You want quality speed?
Probably, yeah.
Okay.
Totally. Yeah,
Well,
that's
they
just
have
we
it.
didn't,
You want like
we didn't
split
talk about it.
other flavors? Like what do you want?
I don't know, to be honest with you. We were just thinking we'd probably put it as, 1080p for now. Is kind of what we were thinking. Well, yeah, I mean,
until we go to
4K. This is literally like MVP right now. It's not set up for adaptive streaming. Give me just 1 second, Steve. We did set up one other thing, which Solomon, you're going to laugh at me on, but we did actually get the pre-roll ads to show up, but there's no inventory. It's the story of our lives, huh, buddy? So we basically set up so there are pre-roll ads that will show up, but until we get enough traffic, our friends won't give us any ads.
That can be a video itself, right?
It is actually set up to do pre-roll video ads. That is correct. And we got that like up and running, and I saw an ad like once, and I haven't seen an ad since. When we do demo ads, then it shows up, but that's basically how we're planning on monetizing the site. But yeah, pretty nifty stuff. We are going to release all the code for this open source here shortly. We're still working on, the publishing mechanism of it. Probably the niftiest thing that I would, consider doing with it is, given that we do have the ability to read MRSS directly out of Brightcove, there's nothing that really stops any content provider, from just signing up with Brightcove and putting their videos in there and then having a TV app work. Because it can literally do that. And that was one of the main reasons that we set it up the way that we did. And kind of the other reason that we set it up the way that we did is so, like, say, with Scott right now, he's over at Participant Media. So they've got an MRSS out for Pivot. So we could build this in like a week for Pivot TV.
Yeah, the hard work is there. It's up front.
All the hard stuff's there. All we're doing at this point is slapping a logo on there and teaching the content girl how to categorize the videos. That's pretty much all it's going to take to actually launch a new TV app. So we truly do believe that this is going to change a lot of the mindsets of the people here in town. And if everything works correctly, I will kill Time Warner Cable. A lot of you may wonder why I say that. What I mean is Time Warner takes a huge chunk of all the ads and everything like that, and all the ad money, and so do the TV networks. And this makes it so that anybody that's actually a content provider can just have a TV app. No need for CBS. No need for Time Warner. No need for KTLA. You can just publish, and then anyone in the world can actually see the stuff.
Those guys have a pretty good sales department.
Oh, they do. They got a great sales department, and they do have good marketing too. You ready for questions, Steve?
So just two things. One thing that we brought up about the flavors of, actually what resolution you're going to serve video at. Just keep in mind, if that's something that you're kicking around in your organization, that costs money. So if you're going to host 7 flavors, you better damn well be sure that all 7 are used. At the point where you're hosting stuff that doesn't get used, you're paying for that space. Not just the bandwidth, but the space. Okay, good. We've got that point clear. And then the other thing, I don't know if we want to open this up towards the end after questions, but we're back into the mindset of, I was talking with Matt earlier, the headless world of Drupal, where it's not a Drupal theme. It's not, but you're using Drupal as the administrative point for your content, but choosing different ways on how to serve that content. I'm working on Angular sites right now in my organization. This is a completely different way to view that content via MRSS.
Angular on the front and then hitting web services on the back?
Yeah. Well, we built our own custom API wrapper for how we do a lightweight Drupal bootstrap.
But you use just Drupal as a data store?
Yes, we
Right.
use Drupal as a data store, a lot of
Same
caching. But the idea here, I feel like this is definitely the wave of where things will go in our space. We support a lot of apps with that data, but again, it's all driven by Drupal. So maybe other people can give examples of how they're doing that in their own work today, because I think that that's a really important thing for us moving forward in the next 5 years.
The writing on the wall for Drupal is that more headless, services-oriented type of stuff, being a content control center, not necessarily maybe even the web front end upon publishing.
You can still do it.
Right, you can still do it. Questions?
Questions?
Stoffer? Drupal media platform?
Did you consider something other than?
Not really.
Parenting?
I mean, one of the main things that got us to this, Mike, was we basically worked on the Hub Network, we worked on Kids in the House, we worked on Pivot TV, and we worked for someone that I'm not going to talk about. And we kind of already knew like all the right patterns and all the solutions and stuff like that. And then we know already that like Fox is on Drupal. CBS is on Drupal. NBC is on Drupal.
And they use Kaltura,
ABC
Akamai,
is on Drupal. Like all of these dudes are all using the same shit. Like in my mind, I'd rather build something that I can bolt and layer on top of that than go completely innovative that I can't talk any of them into. Whereas this is just something that we should be able to layer on with that MRSS abstraction layer, and they should be cool like that, in my mind.
They could already have predefined node and entity types that they've been publishing for years, and this can come in right on top, and then associate that content as what's going to have a video associated to it.
Correct. Really the big challenge that I've run across so far when I've talked to different media people is the licensing rights, and that's something that I'm going to have to figure out how to do, because if some of you know much about royalty reporting and stuff like that, they may license something, they may license something for, like, say, North America only. So if it's like an Android app, how do you, like, I don't know, like block out Venezuela or something like that?
There are a couple solutions. We've had to do that already.
Yeah, we just do an
IP
IP-based,
yeah,
exactly.
I mean, that's a huge list of countries that you have to go in. The content editor's like, oh, I select this one, but not this one.
Yeah, that was my knee-jerk reaction too. I mean, when I was consulting back for Toshiba, we literally blocked all of Southeast Asia because they just kept stealing credit cards and laptops from us. So we just blackballed the whole region.
How did they steal laptops?
The stolen credit cards through the internet. You literally just take a stolen credit card and buy a laptop. Yeah, and then ship it to Thailand. And then poof, no more laptop. Yeah, 1/3 of our orders were fraudulent stolen credit cards.
More questions? Social media platform?
Going once?
Kids in the house? Stress parenting?
Yeah,
hitting your kid? Not hitting your kid? No? All right.
All right.
I think we're done.
We got to show the actual node that we dropped.
Thank you, everybody, for
like the Drupal meetup.
going through Stoffer's presentation. Thank you, Stoffer. Pretty cool stuff. How many here have a smart TV or kind of a device that connects to your TV that gives you apps or something like that?
Everybody raise their hand.
Yeah, well.
Hey, I play Duck Hunt still. I need it too.
CRT, baby.
Cool. Well, it looks like that this is definitely something that appealed to quite a bit of us. We all have an experience of flipping through 20 minutes trying to find something to watch. I think maybe I'll load this up when it comes out and learn how to, I don't know, hit other people's kids, I guess. But, sorry. It's not 1955, I'm sorry. Sorry, I remember that in Mad Men. I saw this in Mad Men. Some adult hit somebody else's kid, and nobody had a problem with it, and I was like, wow.
I got hit by Jason, one of my best friends when I was a kid, mom, all the time.
Oh, yeah. You kept coming on to
Oh, I totally deserved it.
Okay, well, that's okay.
I'm happy she did.
Can you flip right back to the computer?
Yeah. Okay, let's go like this.
While we're waiting for that, did anybody have a lightning talk tonight that they wanted to
Maybe you want to plug
take a few moments, 5 minutes chatter on anything that they're doing that might be interesting to our community? Rick?
Only if there's time.
Hey, there's time.
It's totally it's a newbie thing.
If you just want, that's what we're here for.
How many here would like to see a newbie lightning talk?
Next month's meetup is our community Smackdown meetup. This is our opportunity for everybody to share what they're doing, what they find cool, or to ask a question. You get 5 minutes, stand up, whatever you're doing that might be relevant to the people in the room today. I've learned.
It's lightning talks all night.
I have learned so much from just sitting in the room for that hour and a half. Because I'm like, oh, I got to go home and try that thing. You know, because for someone like me, I don't work in a large company. I don't have 15 people around me all doing different things. I'm not learning from many other people. So if that's not you, and you come to meetings like this, it's a real opportunity for you to do something new, like run.
I can do it from another computer if you want me to start from this one.
This one's recording, so I can't move it. Okay. Or something else that might help you because you saw somebody else use it here. So please consider something for next month. If you haven't shared before, like Rick is mentioning, it's a newbie thing. I will learn from this. I guarantee you that you will say something that I don't know.
I doubt that.
Well, I happen to know, Rick, that it's not known access, so I'm pretty sure I'm not.
Okay. The only problem is that we can't plug in my computer because I don't have the correct.
That's okay. If you just want to talk, that's also okay.
All right. You want me to just talk through
Does
it?
anybody have the old DVI adapter?
By any chance.
This connects with the Apple TV.
Yeah, but
whatever.
unless he's on, if he's on Matter.
So
No. I can use any laptop, but it doesn't matter.
So we don't have the DVI input right now.
Yeah.
I can reconnect that if you give me a second.
Oh, and the Apple TV is off right now.
Or
Yeah, 'cause I thought that
The Apple TV's off.
Okay.
Could we do a demonstration? I could drive for you while maybe, I don't know.
yeah, that's absolutely.
Let's try this. Oh, wow, this is fun.
In general, I wouldn't let Chris ever drive me. When it comes to this part, it's okay.
Well, the only tricky part might be that to show it in action, I would actually have to log into my staging environment.
Yeah, I wouldn't let Chris do that.
He can drive once I log in.
This is not working for some reason.
Okay. I'll just, you know what? I'll just talk through it, and if anybody wants a demonstration, maybe show them offline or something.
Or next month, you bring it in next month. We won't hear about it.
So basically, early on, he asked, newbies to raise their hand, and my hand went up. Okay. And so I worked for a college, and we hired a developing outfit to develop our site. We have over 3,000 pages, and about the same amount of assets in videos and what have you. So anyway, it's an expansive site to say the least, right? And I'd never really seen Drupal before, and they said, here's your website. And so needless to say, teams of developers probably worked on this thing. And we have lots of different content types. Slideshows, videos, and you can embed those into other types of slideshows like bodies of work and spotlights and all these things. So all really fancy stuff done in views and what have you, and it was all brand new to me. And site got delivered. Long story short, I had no access to developers. The relationship got pretty much cut off, and so I had to maintain the same. I didn't even know Drupal. And so what happened was, everything was running pretty smooth. They delivered it pretty full functioning, and then one day I get a call from the provost office, and they said, I just clicked on a tag underneath the spotlight, and I got a whole list of all these things that were related, that were tagged the same, and every single one of them I'm getting a 404. Or not a 404, I'm sorry. I was getting an access denied. You're not authorized to view this page. And it turned out that that entire tag list were all slideshows, because slideshows were not designed to be accessed directly. They were supposed to be embedded in the spotlight or embedded in the body of work. Or you can even embed them on a basic page, but you couldn't go directly to that content type because they turned it off. Because we had originally asked for an interface where they would go and they would see all of them in a view. They would get a grid and they could click on it and see all the slideshows, but they nixed it before we launched the site. And so there I was standing there with the provost of the college telling me, you really got to fix this. And I had no clue what the problem was. And so I'm scratching my head, and I'm searching, and I'm checking everywhere. I'm Googling everything. And then after about the 30th keyword search, I came up with something called develop node access. I read, and it says, If you turn this module on, it'll show you all your access rights, everything that's happening on that page when it loads. So after beating my head against the wall for 48 hours, I installed and turned on that module, and in 20 seconds it said, it's turned off because your Otis module, your custom Otis module that your developers built for you, says you can't access that. So I opened up that module and I look at it, and there it is in line number 5, right there at the top. It says, if not node module is, slideshow, no access. Print it out, hit refresh, boom, they all worked. Just like that. And I'd never even, I didn't even really know Drupal. And so, anyway, for all you newbies, node access, devel, or whatever I might have that name backwards, it's a godsend.
Yeah, well done. I also want to point out that I heard through the grapevine about this because you'd also reached out to a few other people in our community here because you got into a bit of a bind there.
Yeah.
And while you still solved it yourself, one of the things that I brought up earlier, I can't say enough about coming to some of these meetings, whether it be a Drupal meetup or another meetup, to have access to other people who might be dealing with problems that you deal with, other problems, but you don't have to feel alone. My name is Steve.
Well, to that note, I can tell you that was only one that I solved by myself. The other 3, I definitely was not able to solve by myself, and did get the help from the community and got them solved. So he's absolutely correct on that.
And the problem with something like that is it working exactly as designed.
It was working exactly as designed.
That's what the feature said it was going to do.
But, yeah.
Did you look at line 5? Any other lightning topics? Steve, you want to do one?
Okay, I'll just show something real quick. If you pull up this website, it's lovethinature.com. And all it is, and I can show you guys how I customize this module next month. It's a really easy Ajax load thing. So if you go to bios, instead of having a link to one of these bios, you can click the picture or the more link. It loads it right here. Oh, yes. So it's very easy. I customized the module to do kind of this opening and closing, slightly customized. It's really cool because otherwise, when you get to the page, it's like, what are we going to do? Breadcrumbs? How are we going to get them back from this stranded bio page? When really what we want is them on this page. So I can show you guys next month.
Nice. That is a lightning talk of finance. Were you touching jQuery, using jQuery Ajax, or how?
Yeah, I think it's jQuery. It's either that or just JavaScript, and it's in the module file. Okay. It comes standardized, but I just did some customized so that the link it says more.
Narrated by Liam Neeson.
It is. Yes.
All right.
Wonderful. See the movie. It's coming out soon.
You can show something. I don't know if I'll be able to.
You can grab the DM.
The VGA.
Mini.
We're going retro. VGA? Yes.
Yeah, but it's a mini display. He's in.
Yeah.
He's in.
Then do it.
Is that your reports? That's clean, right? I don't want to. That's not what we do. Give me your reports.
Yeah, we did with them. But I'll talk about this.
Question I can remember.
Yeah, my old school.
So our next meetup, while he's setting up, our next meetup is going to be next month, the Tuesday, and we'll be having lightning talks, as Steve pointed out. Every quarter, essentially, we do a big presentation, we do a whole night of lightning talks, and then we also then do like a panel and discussion kind of thing. So it's working out well for us. You guys enjoying that? We're kind of breaking it up and bringing you guys presentations and lightning talks more often. I think the lightning talks is always fun.
I'm a broken record, so I'm going to say it again for all of you who keep commenting to me about it. But take a moment and look at what you did this quarter, and come and tell us about it.
A module.
I kid you not.
Plugin.
Even if it's the most basic thing to some people in the room, we want to hear. Because I had no idea about the develop node access mod. I just didn't know. So that's great. You're telling me I'm not going to learn something. I'm going to learn something.
But you've been using develop for half a decade.
Yeah, well, maybe not that long, but
really?
Yeah, maybe.
Steve, you've been doing Drupal for 5 years.
Yeah, maybe Steve. So you're right. Is that a deck?
Half a deck.
Yeah, that's great. So, my point is don't make the assumption that what you have to share is not
mirror or drag it over.
because that's
Oh,
you could
wait,
be
sorry, I thought it went.
So if you're gonna come and you're going to listen to all these other, some people have highfalutin ideas and things that they'd like to talk about. Keep it Drupal or keep it something that you find relevant to the community, and it's going to be valuable to all of us. I don't want us to get into a cycle where this opportunity every quarter to share is like the same 10 people. That's what we want to avoid, right? Because the same 10 people will always talk. We want to hear from everybody else because, believe it or not, you're also doing something that's entertaining and valuable. Believe it or not, trying to make you feel good about yourself. Just make sure you get your board checked. I want to use this as best.
For some reason.
Can I ask a question?
So is this
Yes.
Of the group,
plugged in right?
is there anybody here that's not using Mac? Interesting, okay. I'm curious about, I'm thinking about doing a session at Drupal Camp LA about Linux, tools that I use.
So awesome.
Would
This
that
is
be
weird.
interesting?
Why are you thinking about it? Why isn't it being posted?
Because seriously, I didn't know if anybody
Out
was
like that.
Again, you don't find out until you put yourself out there. So.
Is it spitting out?
Take it to
We're all that way, so it should be.
Okay, I'm gonna, I've been doing boxes.
For those that don't know, Mike has done in previous years, he has done an open source kind of, solution to, commercial software, commercial workflows. Mike's been pretty good about doing that.
This just doesn't
Hold on,
want
I'm
to
trying
like
to-
It doesn't
work
want to
on this
go.
laptop for some
All
reason.
right, sorry, everybody.
You want to find out how.
Next month, we have, we
Either way, that shouldn't stop it.
Yeah, I didn't.
Oh, see, wait, see what you have on there?
But
You have
those
connect to
people are
AirPlay
still
display
using
projector, so it's not on AirPlay.
How do you-
So
how do you
uncheck
do
that,
something
just
like
connect
that?
AirPlay.
Is something relevant.
And then now I can.
Okay,
And then I'll
and then now have it be normal. So normally we have that Apple TV that's up there, that is the projector, and that's normally how we do it, dude.
Any questions?
So how do I,
Comments? Criticisms of Mike?
how do I,
So, just a round of applause for our sponsor and our presenters. If anybody has ideas for our panel coming up, or a presentation that they want to give, whether it be front-end feeding, because we haven't
That,
seen
that
that in a
projector thing
couple
that you keep
months,
connecting to?
or something else that you might be
Apple
working on, you
TV
want to
device.
demo,
We just need a
we
projector.
love those suggestions. Do you want to make one right now?
A suggestion, maybe we could talk more about the headless Drupal movement that's happening.
Ah!
Yeah.
It's a wonderful idea.
Yeah.
So I would love to hear that for the next panel. I think it's a great idea. So.
For those that are unfamiliar with this term, so the suggestion was if we can talk about headless Drupal. This is a new movement for Drupal. It involves no violence at all.
I do want to point out that there will probably be a boss at DCLA 2014 about this, and maybe we can evolve into a full panel topic on that in the third quarter of the year.
Right.
So help us clean up, take some time to network. Remember, there's blood in the water for Mr. Waller over there. And enjoy the rest of your night, everybody. Thanks for coming.
I don't know.
Anybody interested in after hours?
Oh, what does that mean? Short one. That means about 3. Are you guys going to Tompkins Square?
Tompkins Square, if anybody wants to go, I'll be there. There's no pizza for that. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, you should just stop. I should stop. Yeah, I mean.